The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and/or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly.
The United States Fair Use Disclaimer.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm moving my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You sending messages I can't ignore. I'm contemplating, come here close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.
Good morning. I hope everybody's doing good. Hey there, Frankie. Good to see you. Thank you for your membership. I appreciate that. Hello, Night Owl. Good to see you. I know the weather is horrible, and I have a skylight over my desk. So when the weather is really bad, it's I keep like looking up over my head to see, what is, am I going to get electrocuted sitting here? But it makes for great lighting most days when it's sunny, right? But I actually rescheduled this live, and I thought, why not go ahead and get it over with and talk about it before it's old news. And it was basically this when I was talking about bar brawls in court. I was thinking of this right here that happened in court the other day with a judge.
Shocking courtroom video from Las Vegas shows the moment 30-year-old Deobra Redden
Judge. Well, he was hit with new criminal charges today. We have the new details. Well, last night, remember, we showed you this shocking video of a 3-time felon attacking a Las Vegas judge. Well, he was hit with new criminal charges today. We have the new details from CBS's Carter Evans.
Shocking courtroom video from Las Vegas shows the moment 30-year-old Deobra Redden leaps over the bench, tackling Judge Mary Kay Holthus. Redden is a 3-time felon, in court this time for sentencing after pleading guilty to attempted battery with substantial bodily harm. Redden was not in custody at the time, and moments before the attack, he calmly asked the judge for probation.
I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison, but if it's appropriate for you, then you have to do what you have to do.
But the judge said probation wasn't working.
But I think it's time that you get a taste of something else, because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
Redden tackled the judge to the ground before being wrestled off her. Judge Holthus was injured but not hospitalized. A courtroom marshal was treated at a hospital for his injuries. Redden is in jail now, facing multiple new charges, including battery on a protected person. He's due back in court next week. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Okay, I know that you've probably already seen this in the news. Yeah, is it snowing where you're at? I'm jelly. I hope we get some. Hey Lulu, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, she sent some yesterday. He had the spit mouth. I did see that. I did see. Do you want to know why I wanted to talk about this today? And it's probably not what y'all think. It was his damn lawyer in the blue jacket stood there, did nothing. I even asked some poll questions this week, pretty much basically the same, concept. How good a friend are you? If you saw someone in need, what are you willing to do? If you drop oranges at the supermarket and the whole display falls down, what do you do? Well, I understood that this guy was the guy's lawyer, but he literally stood there in front of the judge and just watched. That infuriated me. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you came. Yeah, drive safe, Lulu. It snowed a lot, and now tonight we're getting tons of rain and light. The wind is crazy. Wind is up to 100 mile an hour tonight and tomorrow. It is. Hey, Claire's feet. Good to see you. Um, I just could not believe that he just stood there, right? Um, I don't know if there was like legalities tied to that. Him being, his, but I would just think humanitarian wise. He stood right there, right in front of her the whole time, and so it made me like ask, some other questions. Like if you did see something happening, what do you do? Do you tell, or do you just mind your own business? Do you dive in and help, or do you just mind your own business? Right? It made me mad. I wonder how many times something like that has happened in a courtroom like that. And then it makes you wonder, why isn't there more of a space between? Yeah, you do. I hear you. Yeah. Right. I mean, I wonder why there isn't some sort of a spit guard, if you will, up between, where the podium is, between the podium and or why there isn't. Just seems like there would be more space between them, and also, if you've ever seen Parliament, like in Canada, they're real far away from the prime minister and that sort of thing. Or like in Congress, there's quite a bit of difference between the pews there that people are sitting in. It just seems like, oh, some courtrooms are awful close. I'm not getting hurt. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And, and people, the way they look at they look at you being a snitch. Who are you to be the town Karen? It ain't none of your damn business, right? And separating church and state and small government, and there's a lot to be said about living out in rural America. People do kind of just mind their own damn business out in rural America. They should have cuffed him, and there shouldn't. I know, right? But in some of these courtrooms, they're small. And you've got access right there. And I can just imagine what some of these cases have been like, that they've had to reside over. It really made me curious. I'm probably going to delve into some of that. What is the statistics of judges being hurt either during the sentencing phase or after sentencing or pending the sentencing? Are they on some sort of, do they have protection? I wonder. And he was fighting and spitting at the sheriffs when they tried to bring him into court Friday. Was he? You know what? If that were a dog, what would we do? We would put the dog down. That's someone that's not civilized for society. They need to put him away. And if we can't tame him to be civilized and trained in civilized society, we don't get to live like animals and jump up on desks and eat apples, right? We're supposed to have some decorum. So, so they postponed it until yesterday. Oh, really? I see Rapper's busy today. There's a clip of the sentencing. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see, here it is. If it's share the screen here. Yeah, present, share screen.
Mr. Almasi's here now. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing and pronounced sentence, an incident initiated by Mr. Redden preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing. Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court.
Hey, Crazy Chicken Lady. Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted.
Yeah, he's totally not fit for society. We're supposed to be a civilized society.
From that day,
that's animal.
An exhibit for the court, as it existed.
Like Gacy.
I walked in from prior to anything happening, nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intended to impose. I'll go ahead with that for a moment. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. How much credit for time served does he have?
It's 0 days. He was on probation when he committed the offense and was revoked on probation to serve the jail time October 25th. That time it expired at or about the time of the plea. So
0 days credit. Mr. Almasi, if that's different, let us know and we'll fix it.
I will.
The motion to quash mandatory is moved at this point. And for the record, I just...
Oh, you're fine. I had rescheduled, then I decided to go ahead and go on.
So that is in addition as of right now.
That's correct. The probation case number, just for the record, is C370775.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is LaDonna Daniels, Ladonna, and Daniels, Daniels.
In your relationship?
I'm his sister.
So can you just tell us, we've only...
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Oh my gosh. He pounded her though in that first video. She just, oh gosh. And it looked like it took one of the deputies to pound him. Oh wow, that's just not fit for societal, living quarters in my opinion. He needs to be put down in a facility until, like you said, Thorazine. I've had to go through that. I've shown out. I'm bipolar, and I've had very, very bad responses to medications that made me more violent. Instead of calming me down, they made me more violent. And I had to get one of them shots in my butt. So, hey, sometimes it's what needs to happen. You fuck the judge up, and she didn't go to the hospital. Are you kidding me? Yes, she should have. It didn't sound like he got a whole lot of time either. She said something about 24 months. What in the world? That's just 2 years. I don't know. When they act up like that, like take for instance, the guy who unalived my daughter. I will never understand why, when he gets more infractions in there, that they don't do more to them. They don't seem to. Now, the one who actually was the shooter of my daughter's crime, he got life plus 14. But the other guys, it seems like they, just like her boyfriend, he got 18. And he has just sat there and gotten nothing but charges after charges. And he's still doing drugs behind. After all this time, you still haven't kicked the drug habit, buddy? What in the world? You're sitting in jail, prison, because you've unalived your girlfriend or assisted in it, the robbery at least, and trying to cover up the drug deal. It seems to me as though you'd have gotten your life together, maybe picked up, I don't know, barber shopping or something. Whatever they call that. I don't know. Gypsy, I'm sorry. You should call the attorney. It just seems as though they would add to their time. Maybe every time he gets in trouble, it looks like they move him. Well, what good does that do? That just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like all of his infractions have been the same thing. Being caught with drugs, being caught with drugs, being caught with drugs. You'd have thunk he'd have read a book. And all this time, she was killed in 2011. 2011. You'd think that they would do something with their time. I don't know. Watching these shows and stuff, and my dad being a cop, I've always asked myself, what would my last meal be? It would be fried chicken. What would I do if I were behind bars? And it's always been, I would want to finish my beauty license and do hair, make people feel good while they're behind bars. How do you do nothing productive while you're back there? I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, pick up line dancing, something. Right? Yeah. They need to keep him off the street. And rumor was he was a Latin king, so I wouldn't think you would want him to be getting out, but whatever. Getting back to this guy that we were talking about who lunged at the judge. Have you ever witnessed someone being assaulted like that? You didn't know them, or maybe you did know them. What did you do? That lawyer made me so frustrated. He sat there and did nothing, frozen almost. What would you do if you have you been in a bar? Have you been at a club? Have you been with your girlfriends and a cat fight break out? What did you do? That's what I want to know. Crazy Lady says she would do something. And Night Owl says there's a guy from Rhode Island. His name is Craig Price. He killed a guy and then killed a woman and her 2 daughters. They do everything they can to keep him on there by prosecuting his crimes. Really, that's how it should be. He did it when he was 14. They couldn't give him life with no parole because of his age. 14. I'll have to look this up. Let me write this name down. I like to read stuff like that. Price. Awesome. That is 14. That, whenever we watch those shows that's got the kids going behind bars, it's so hard to, because some of them are just evil-minded, man. I mean, they've been abused or used or neglected, or a chromosome got screwed up or something, and then you see them being put in there with these monsters. It's like, but they created the same level of crime. What do you do? I don't know. There definitely needs to be some sort of reform, though, because I do believe in letting our addicts and mentally ill get the help they need before putting them behind bars. How do you expect them to act civilized when they're not? They're mentally ill. I include myself. What else was I gonna? Sorry. I just get the severity of crimes is what I have to look at. It's like if they're just doing something low level, a candy bar, that's really only going to hurt corporate America. But when it's like something major and you've just like pounded your girlfriend in front of everybody in the middle of the trailer park, I tend to call the law. Just saying. You might not want to live near me, but if I see that, you're up to no damn good and I have to live by laws, so the fuck do you, just how I see it. And I could have been, left just fine, drinking and partying my life away because I didn't have the courage to unalive myself in a little trailer park in South Gastonia 20 years ago. And, y'all just left me alone. But no, y'all said, no, you can't do this. You've got to go get help. You got to go get clean and you got to do right by your kids. So I said, oh, okay. Is that what they call civilized? It's like, yes. Is that what they call being grown up? Yes. Is that what they call being, educated and being a productive member of society? Yes. Oh, okay. So you get up, you dust yourself off, you pull the leaves off of your Dollar General uniform, and you go on to rehab and you do the right thing and you obey laws from that point forward, and you try to do the right thing by your fellow man while you're here on earth. And like I always say, God's going to ask you about your crimes here, not mine. So, you try to do the right thing, but it's like, you look over at your buddy over here and he's pounding out his girlfriend in the middle of the trailer park. Well, why am I having to abide by all the societal norms if you're not? But, does that bring Karen out too much in some of us? Are we, you know what I'm trying to say? Are we like, what is it, big brothering our neighbor too much? I don't know, I mean, there's a bar brawl in the middle of the courtroom. I would have done something. I wouldn't have just stood there. I don't know if there were laws making him not do anything because he was representing the guy. It just sort of made me mad. The mother instinct in me says, I've got to do something. Yeah, you too. I remember watching you back when we were Tigers and you were little Dave. I'm glad to know you too. What a story. And now he's in a Florida prison because he's so bad. That is a story. I'm going to have to look that up. Maybe I'll cover that. I think we can learn from past horrific crimes like that. You know, just going back and looking at, there's a, there was one here locally that I was going to cover, and it was, it could cover all sides, all sides. You don't have to be like this guy, Rhode Island. I'm sure probably came from a prominent family. That area, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I would assume probably came from a good family. It doesn't matter. Like this local case that happened here when I was a teenager in the 80s. It was the family of doctors, and they had a couple of rogue cousins who fell in love with each other, and they wound up blowing themselves and the kids away in this truck in between here in Greensboro, North Carolina, years ago. And this is in the 80s. And it was like there was a crime scene at the doctor's house, and then there was the crime scene where they blew themselves up in the truck on the way to the airport. And so there was like all these crime scenes, and where they had robbed one house before they went to it's a story. I'm gonna have to totally tell you guys about it. And just when we think about this guy jumping it's not much different than this guy who's got the college degree of an MD, practicing medical doctor. He just goes off the deep end, has an arsenal of guns, and has this paranoia that come about him. I guess it's just, I don't know, man. It all sides of life, right? It doesn't matter if you're educated or not. You can lose your shit, right? Thank you, crazy chicken lady. I appreciate you. I have to laugh about that period in time of my life because it was just a literal splash in time, but it was significant. It was significant in that, I joke with my atheist friends. They say, "Why are you a Christian?" And I say, "Because Mama said so." And I've been in relationships with people in my life from all types of religion and spirituality, whether it be Dianetics and Scientology, or the Mormon faith and FLDS, or I've been around, Buddhists is in my family. There's some Jews in my family, and a Gypsy in my family, and just a lot of different, so you get to like take all this information, me being the baby, and sit back and go, okay, well, what do I think of all this? And you put it all together and you come out with what was in my mind, God. And as I was like walking myself to my job, from my trailer that I rented with with the crackhead because I didn't want to live alone. True story. He had cleaned, y'all. He would clean while I was going to work. It worked out. Okay. It just worked out. Anyway, I would drink my beer and he would go in the bathroom and smoke crack. It's like I didn't have my kids with me then. And it just worked out. We budgeted our money and it just worked out. But anyway, we were together 6 months, 6 months of my life. But it put things in me as far as like, hitting rock bottom. That was definitely probably my rock bottom. And I had winos that were sleeping up against my trailer at night, and I could hear the bottles clinging and clinking. But when I was alone and my crackhead was run off on a crack run, he or binge, and I was there left alone. This is literally 1 year of my life. I was living with him for 6 months, but literally about 1 year of my life that I hit rock bottom. It takes it. I remember we would get like an 18 pack of Coors Light and split it between us in between our jobs. He hung, what is it called? Vinyl siding and gutters. And I would ride with him on my days off or when I got off work if I still had quite, enough time for me to drink and then sober up because I'm kind of a OCD person that way. I would like drink until a certain time at night and then I would start drinking water and then I'd get prepared for my next day. But this particular day, I remember I woke up in a ditch and I still had my Dollar General uniform on with leaves all stuck in my hair and stuff. And I said to God, I said, you got to get me out of here. And the trailer that I was living in was near train tracks. And when I say near train tracks, I mean like on the train tracks, okay? And if y'all know Stacer Tucker's Trailer Park in South Gastonia, y'all know I'm telling the truth. And there was a barbecue restaurant right there at the train tracks and my trailer park. And I could smell the barbecue all the time. I'd be hungry as hell, no money, living with a crackhead in a trailer park in South Gastonia, wearing Dollar General uniform. I was like, wow, this is where I am in the world right now. And you have those moments of epiphany. And I would like to think that I like was talking to God and said, you got to get me the hell out of here. This is some bullshit. Okay. But it took those moments in my life for me to like humble myself to God and to another superior being, that this was bigger than me. This was too much for my shoulders. And I didn't have to carry it alone. All I had to do was humble myself and admit, you ain't got this, girl. Okay, I know you think you do, but you don't. You might want to go back to church. So, luckily, my neighbors are good. Sometimes the neighbors fight, the brother and sister, or the girl fights with her boyfriend. But I never hear hitting. I'm on my business. Okay, I'm so glad you're here, Night Owl. Let me tell you this channel that I stumbled upon. Sarah was covering Danger, what's his name? Danger Ranger. And she was saying, she and I are on the outs, but I still try to keep up with her because I still care about her. But anyway, she was saying how this guy was abusing this girl in this live stream and that we should do something. Well, she went off to go do something else, and I, of course, got wrapped up in this live stream, and I'm stuck there. And the guy is local to me. I'm in Winston-Salem, and he is in Hickory, which is not far at all. It's like 45-minute drive from me. And the live stream that he had last night, he was, just go watch it. I'll even put it in the chat. It was like, I don't know if he was like, I mean, so you're like, is this a love tap? I mean, are y'all just like, is this how y'all get along? Kind of like Archie Bunker? Or is this like more serious? It's hard to measure, especially when you're on YouTube. You're like, is this part of their act? Um, it's so hard, So while I'm in there, I just try to talk to her and I'm like, hey, you're beautiful when he's calling her names. And, the educated ones just do. Yeah, that's right. Isn't that the truth? I once was a crazy girl, TJ, at my weekend hangout for years. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up Catholic. My mom was Catholic and my dad is Methodist, but he's not religious. I don't go to church regularly anymore. But on Christmas Eve, I watched. Oh, did you? I bet that was nice. I wish I was better um, disciplined like that. Watching every week the mass. I bet that's nice. Hey, Chihuahua Mama, good to see you. Some nasty weather out there here. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it here. It brings me peace. It makes my pain not. I hear you. See, that's how I feel, And people have said, "Well, that's your testimony." When people say, "Share your testimony," well, that's part of it, right? When you found your way out of the darkness and back into the light, what was it that you were drawing your strength from? And mine was definitely my foundation with God. However, in whatever form He comes to you in that, I definitely realized that I am not my own God in some of these, religions. That is sort of the um, you understand what I'm trying to say? That's their thing. What am I trying to say? That's their I don't know their mission statement is you are your own God. Stop thanking Him for your own successes. And I just can't do that. Mom would smack me upside the head some way or form from heaven. She would see that I tripped. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously though, I I have to think that if I hadn't humbled myself and realized that I do need help from other people, and it was early I guess it was late 20s, early 30s. And I met my husband, and he said, no drinking, absolutely no drinking. His first wife was a heavy drinker, and his second wife was a heavy drinker, and he was just a heavy smoker. And I had gotten to where it was making me feel sick when I drank, and it was like I would look at a beer and think, I got to drink this whole thing to make the thoughts go away, right? Well, that was just, trying to find a means to the end. So that meant to me it could be anything that's going to take me away, Calgon, right? So I needed to like find the right head med that was going to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And like I was saying, I believe it was day before yesterday that I had met my doctor out here in the middle of nowhere, Yadkin County, North Carolina. And he said, you should try an old medicine, not these new ones. They were putting me on Abilify and Seroquel, and I was fucked up when I was at my daughter's trial. But in a way, I'm glad because I don't remember it. I remember the important key points that there were people around me that loved me and loved my daughter, and they were supporting us. That to me was the most important thing, and that she got justice. And then the second thing I remember was Senator Jeff Jackson, and when he was prosecuting the case as a ADA there. So that's what I was gonna share. Hey, Buttercup baby, good to see you. Our past makes us stronger. That's right. So for Valentine's Day, this kind of ties into what I was going to tell y'all about. I was going to do for Valentine's Day is thank you letters, thank you notes to my exes that have taught me lessons in life, and thank you for it not working out. And I met my husband, and he did kind of put that foot down and say this is how it's going to be, and if you're wanting a relationship with me, there'll be no drinking. He said just the sound of bottles hitting each other into the trash can, he just cringed, and it became a trigger for him. Drinking became a trigger for him, and so we just fell in love with weed. And I don't have those bouts of depression that I did back when I was a drinker. Resto is a woman who cries in front of mommy. Rapper, why are you mad at Resto? I thought he apologized this morning. Why are you mad if he apologized? You're eating lunch. Oh, that's okay. I understand. Just kind of shooting the shoot. Right. Hey, Kim. Good to see ya. I'm able to talk about this little crackhead that I lived with, but there was actually two in particular that I lived with, and they don't care if I talk about them because one has passed on, bless his heart, but and the other one I think is probably proud of it. It's the truth. That one's just the one I'm going to talk about for just a quick second, if you don't mind. Um, when he would get high on crack and come in, he would be very philosophical before he got violent and mean, and I'd have to call law on him. And mind you, this only lasted about 6 weeks. I was with this one. Get lonely, just freaking lonely, and he made me laugh. There was something about him. He looked exactly like Sean Penn. He did. He looks exactly like Sean Penn. But anyway, uh, uh, he would get does get philosophical when he was, high, and he would talk about things, and sometimes they make a lot of good sense. Some of the things that he would talk about was one in particular, the foundation of a man is his shoes, and how when you're raising sons, it's important to teach them to always buy good quality leather shoes, because when you're walking in on a job interview, or you're walking and meeting your, whoever, whatever, the first thing that is sized up is a man's shoes. And he was explaining to me that you don't want to buy them cheap shoes and they, be worn out, or they be dirty and dusty and not clean. That's how they will be judged, is basically their foundation. He was equating shoes as being the man's foundation. What do y'all think of that? I thought it was sort of an interest. There's something else he would talk about too, was being what's that dude's name? Wyatt Earp. Yeah. He would get talking about Wyatt Earp. Had me so cracked up. It does, doesn't it? He would be so far out there, but making so much sense, right? It does make sense, and just some things like that that I've picked up from people like that through my life. How I was only there, 6 weeks, I think, before I called my brother-in-law to come get me the hell out of there. Um, I learned a whole lot. I learned a whole lot about myself, that I'm stronger than I thought I was, because when he would get mean, I'll just leave it at that. I was creative at how I protected myself. I remember one time he came in on me, and I went into the kitchen and grabbed the cayenne pepper, and just I remember I was in this self defense class years before, when I was like 19, and they talked about, if you're in the kitchen, because sometimes abuse abusive partners want to get you when you're vulnerable, and if you're at a hot stove, they see that as you're vulnerable, and so they try to come in on you and intimidate you while you're over the hot stove, and so it becomes a trigger. It is for me terrible. I mean, anyway, get the hell out of the kitchen if you want me to cook. If you want me to cook, you got to get the hell out of the kitchen. It makes me nervous, because I went through that. But anyway, and so they talked about things that you can use in the kitchen that won't, unalive anybody, but it will keep you safe. And cayenne pepper was one of the things that I remembered them teaching me when I was 19. I think I'm like 30 now, when this is happening to me, and that ran through my mind. And I grabbed it and I just shook it right in his eyes, and he got off me. He got off me. Good shoes are important. I agree. good quality shoes, not knockoffs, right? And clean, keeping them well, polished and clean, and how it was important that he said they could always tell in school. Now, see, I didn't grow up in this town that I'm talking about. This is deep south, deeper south than where I'm at. How they would judge you in school by how dirty your shoes are. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, well, if you come in with dirty feet, you probably live in a trailer park, or off a dirt road, or like a dirt road that doesn't have pavement. Because rich folk aren't going to come in with dirty feet. They're going to have pavement and paved sidewalks and paved roads and driveways. What I'm trying to say, not sidewalks, but paved. Yeah. Well, I guess sidewalks too. But I thought, wow, that's interesting. And so it was like, it's important to be real meticulous about your feet and shoes when you're poor because you're judged that way. And I was like, that's so funny because where I grew up was off Country Club Road. I remember nails being a thing because there was a lot of being, Bowman Gray School of Medicine, a lot of auto mechanics. Um, a lot of auto mechanics and dirty fingernails. And I remember that being a trigger for my mom. She was like always making us, keep our fingernails clean, and telling us that's a worm under your nail. Get that worm out from under your nail, and being real meticulous about our hands. I guess we always had quality shoes, so I never really thought about that like that. I was blessed with a good mom who had good style and fashion sense, and she always took us to department stores to get our school shoes and shoes that we got at Christmas. We would get shoes in the summer and we would get shoes at Christmas. And then there was, our church shoes, our play shoes. We usually had white tennis shoes that she didn't want us to get dirty that we would wear out to, like, if we went shopping and stuff. And then there was like my boots for the rain and then my boots for the snow. And I always had sandals. And he was like, girl, we only have one pair of shoes. And he was like, you didn't grow up poor. And I was like, yes, I did. He's like, if you grew up anywhere near the words Country Club Road, girl, you did not grow up poor. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Stop saying that. He was like, you don't know what poor is. So when I went to live with him, it was like a culture shock. It was like, I guess you're right. I guess I didn't know what poor meant. It's all perspective, isn't it? It humbled me. That whole experience humbled me. And so I don't look down on people in trailer parks anymore, but they were some of the funnest, nicest people that I've ever met. That's for sure. They didn't let me go hungry. They'd bring me a fish when they went fishing, and good conversation and a cigarette when I needed one. And so there was good times there too. It wasn't all. It was just because it was my rock bottom doesn't mean it's a rock bottom to be there. It was just my rock bottom. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the way I was living. It was just the way I was living, if that makes sense. So, just sort of my experiences I thought I would share. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. And he was like, we had to hustle for our shoes, and sometimes they would steal them from you and beat you up for them. And I was like, beat you up for a pair of shoes? And he was like, when Jordans came out, yeah, you would get beat up for a pair of shoes. I had like never heard of anything like, yes, yeah, that's right, our patent leather shoes, right? For Easter. Yeah. You was always barefoot and flip flops. Did you have dirty feet? Are you from the South? Are you in the deep South? Yeah. He just made me notice things that I didn't notice about society. Just things that I took for granted having humbled me. The whole experience humbled me. and living with someone that you never knew when he was gonna, you know, hurt you, you know. So I had to, I had to really like growing up because I had siblings. And I grew up in a house that was loud and could get physically violent, you know, sparring and that kind of thing. It was the day of the claw. If y'all remember that from the wrestling days, the claw. It was sort of like the thing, you know, to roughhouse, and so I knew how to fight. Definitely knew how to fight, and just having sisters that you know, I can't even remember what we would fight over, not turning the light off before we jumped in the bed. We would scrap. We were pulling hair. We were like gouging each other with our fingernails as hard as we could. Shit like that. You wore that dress. I told you you couldn't wear it. You stretched it all out. Now I hate you. I grew up in Paris, but then Camp Pendleton, San Diego for a bit. Oh, did you really? Very nice. Very nice. Camp Pendleton. My husband loves San Diego. No beach here, just woods and farmland. Yeah, there's a beach 4 hours from here. We've got Wilmington and Carolina. The whole Carolina coast is just 4 hours from me. And the mountains are about an hour from me. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can get to Pilot Mountain in about 30 minutes. And Sourtown Mountain. Now you're in Montana. Oh, wow. I've always wanted to go there. There's a little park I like to take a ride to. It's right on the ocean, and I like to sit and look at that water. I love that. That reminds me of something. You'll keep talking amongst yourselves. You just reminded me of something. Now I've got to read it. If my phone will. Why does it always go slow when I need it to? Here we go. Here we go. If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone, sailing on the cool and bright clear water. There's lots of those friendly people, they're showing me ways to go, but I never want to lose their inspiration. Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. And now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time for a cool change. Well, I was born in the sign of water, and it's there that I feel my best. The albatross and the whales, they are my brothers. It's time for a cool change. Oh, I know that it's time for a cool change. I've never been romantic, and sometimes I don't care. I know it may sound selfish, but let me breathe the air. That made me think of that song, Night Owl. Do you know that song? That's from our generation. You're 5 minutes away from the ocean. Oh, wow. That is fantastic. Your chickens would absolutely, they would give you eggs. They would give you eggs. Oh, yeah. I love that song. I love the water. Just, you know, being near the lake, that reminds me of a whole nother time in my life. Um, before I lost everything, one of many times of my life. Being bipolar, you make shitty decisions and you got to live with them. I own up all of my bad choices. At the time, it seemed like such a great idea, though. But there was a time when I was living in Gastonia before I lost my house. I had a nice home. I was in corporate sales. And on the weekends, I would spend with my best friends down at Lake Wiley. And sometimes all we would do is go out on the pontoon and listen to music, have some cocktails, and a steak on the grill that was bolted to the damn pontoon and Bose stereo system. And we would just sit out on the lake and chill. And it couldn't have been a cheaper date, but I'm telling you, that was like, I missed that so much being on the water. To me, that was like the best stress reliever. And it was just, you're really in the moment when you're on the lake, on the water, the sun's setting. You got some great tunes, great air, and the foliage is beautiful. It's the South Carolina North Carolina border. Um, it's just gorgeous. Uh, I was living in a store the other day in the motel. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sing that again. I love that. You're not gonna sing? I can sing that better, but the lyrics to me, I just loved it. Yeah, I love that. It does. It keeps you in the moment. And we would make artichoke on the grill. We did the whole meal right there on the lake. We just packed it up in our cooler and went and hit the water. And I mean, to me, it was you work your ass off all week. We deserved it. To me, that was some of the happiest times of my life was when I was able to go out on the water, especially when I could take my kids with me and they got to enjoy it. And it's just a really nice area, and it's like I said on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina, Lake Wiley. Yeah, I love the Little River Band. Is who I was singing. Cool change. Yeah. Oh, let's see. I would love to find something down there and retire there, but I tell you, there was a restaurant down there at one time. I wonder if it's still there. Mm, yeah. So, Crazy Chicken Lady, drop your link so I can subscribe. Yeah, y'all all do that, please. Absolutely. Thank y'all for coming. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'd been over to see Betty the other day because, I'm interested in some of the topics that she was covering. Nobody else was, no matter how much I begged. I was like, please cover Cat Williams. But and then when she was covering the makeup and wigs, and there's no other channel that's doing that. So I believe I saw you over there, and I'm glad that you're here. I've definitely missed you. So yeah, y'all sub up to each other. Thank you very much. Yeah, I saw that. That is so sad. Understand it was is it pneumonia? Untreated pneumonia, and now she's in a coma. Um, I, s- I'm, I'm just beside myself at how many have passed from that case. Wow was all I have to say. That poor guy. Hunter has lost Leslie, and then didn't his grandmother, something happened with his grandmother, is that right, Sherry? Oh, that's okay. I got it. I don't have enough people come in to make a big deal out of it. It's no big deal. I saw that. I think she's septic. Oh, wow. It went to the brain. Prayers. That's awful. You know, they're saying that there's another bout going around right now and that the hospitals are starting to get overloaded with the as a RSV and this upper respiratory crud going around. I think it happens like every year when the seasons change, and now the weather's really wonky right now, isn't it? Definitely prayers. I don't even know what to say to that other than just pray, I guess. Thanks, Crazy Chicken Lady. I just am in shock because I know that there was some confusion as to which alley, and I saw Cam and Allie had posted not that alley, and then so I went and looked, and I saw that it was Hunter's alley, and I thought, wow, that poor guy. If y'all would, before I close out, consider purchasing a membership so that I can do membership lives and keep the trolls out. And I want to do some games with you guys, and having memberships will help me do that, um, and help me keep going and viable and help me meet my threshold every month. Crazy Chicken Lady, that's the thing that gets me the most is hitting the threshold because I don't have the following that I need to keep it. You know, that's I gotta get better at just asking for it. You know, so if you would consider you don't know how to share the membership link. Well, it should be just the dollar sign on their phone. Do you know how to, Kim? I think she's a mod. Yeah, Kim's a mod. Kim, do you know how to drop the membership link for iPhone and also here in chat, please? If she's still here. iPhone is wonky. It's really coming down. I can hear the wind. It's crazy. You don't? Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't have a mod here that knows how. We'll figure it out though. I'm pretty sure if you just hit the dollar sign on your phone, you're still waiting on mod class. I know, right? I wish I knew more. Yes, Sarah was always good at dropping that stuff for me. Okay. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna head on out, and I hope y'all have a good day. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all later. Oh, you do know how? Are you a mod? If you don't mind. I know some people don't like being a mod. Um, I think I had modded a couple of people that didn't want to be. And then when you take it back, it's like they get upset. Do you want to be? Do you want to be? Do you mind being one? If you want to, I don't want you to be if you don't. Um, let me see. Dang, why is it not letting me mod you? It's weird. I'm pushing. Shoot. Well, I'll have to do it after my live. I can't figure out how to. Usually if I just press on your name on my phone, it pops up. Do you want to mod this person? Let me see if it's because I am, yeah, that's what it is. Hold on one second. I see what it is. Here we go. Let me get them all live here. You know, I stay over here, mind my own business. I go support the people that I feel support me, and they still come in here trying to start stuff with me. Does it make any sense to y'all? I don't understand. Do y'all? Okay, there y'all go. They were wanting the iPhone link, the membership iPhone link. I think they just get bored. I'm easy to pick on, I guess. Call me a name and whatever. We need membership link, please, Buttercup Baby. You're welcome, Night Owl. Thank you for coming. I'm so, like I said, I've missed you from being over at Ernie's years ago. We started off over there, didn't we? Yeah, if you know the membership link, that would be awesome. And I guess I'm gonna go start another pot of caramel coffee and call it a day. Thank y'all for coming. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
On the best there is. Woo!
Been friends since 1995. Growing up, same street, you, me, my ride or die. All the years they would grow us apart, yeah. Moved away, but you're still in my heart, yeah. Call you up, how you been? Can we play a rewind? Yeah, those other guys you choose, they don't care, no, like I do. I've been waiting on you. Oh, oh. I've been waiting on you for so long, and it's killing me to see you there with a broken heart. If you knew, I've been waiting on you. Whoa, whoa. I've been waiting on you, coming like a wrecking ball, crying on me, saying how they make you feel so small. When the rain couldn't get any clearer, I'm the one holding up all your mirrors, baby. Hurry up, back to me, why'd you ever move on? Yeah, you're making me confused. I'm the one that you should choose. I've been waiting on you.